Are we going to have another big move in crypto? We need to take a look at the charts. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. And do you know where the elves go to see who won their elections? They check the North Pole. Well, it's Saturday. I got my comfy clothes on. I got my cup of coffee ready to go. And I also think I still have a little bit of bedhead going on, but I was up pretty early. Take a look through the markets. And then also I decided to take a look at Bitcoin and some of the other altcoins that are out there and see what exactly is shaping up. So I will preface this by saying that this is a technical view of what we're looking at crypto, as that I have not polished up my research on crypto in a while, but I do think that the technicals still hold a very good place for us. Plus we have the news of the possible Bitcoin ETF coming up between January 5th and 10th, and I don't think that the final run has been seen for that one. So we're going to take a look at the charts and see what we see there. Now, about the stock market itself, that is something that I do follow, and should we actually have a strong move in either direction on Bitcoin, that is something that I plan on using the Bitcoin miners for from the markets. And if you want to see how I am playing these markets, I'll tell you about my Patreon, about my options course, and about the free stocks from Moo. In the meantime, though, I do want to get into the charts on crypto itself. So let me pop that up there for you. And we're actually going to kick things off with Bitcoin. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. And check out this narrowing that we have going on. Even the RSI here can't decide. We got that consolidation going, that narrowing going, and it's possible. We have to watch and see if we break down through support here and we turn a little bit bearish, and we'll retest supports that we have somewhere around 41,000. Or even 41.1, and then all the way down below that takes us down close to 38,000. So we do need to see if the momentum falls out of this thing, and if we get a bit of a sell-off down to 38, or if momentum is actually going to tick up instead, and it's going to send us up through the top of this. Given the current sentiment that we have in the markets, it is possible that we see that push to the upside with a little bit of a bullish bias going on this. And if it does, if we break to the upside, we have room to about just shy of 45,000. 44.8 is about what I have if we see that in the near term. Now, mind you, the farther that, the longer it takes us to get there, the more through December that we go, we could possibly see that 45 happen. If we break through 45, we pretty much have a green light up until about 48,000. So for Bitcoin, I think this is very much worth checking out. So happy Saturday to all of you, and I hope you like what you see on here, and that you can tell me down in the comments what your favorite crypto is and what your sentiment on crypto is as well. Moving over to Ethereum, check out the support lines that we have, but then also look at that trend line we have across the top of this. Once again, the 4-hour chart that we're looking at, Bitcoin still dominating the scene. And I'll tell you what we have with the altcoins happening right now is a very similar story across a lot of them. So for Ethereum, which I hold directly in my crypto portfolio, by the way, we have room down on this one, down to about 2150 is that number to the downside. Below that takes us all the way down to about that 2000 mark, with probably a little bit of stumble right around at 21.1. So we want to watch for that. Should we break to the downside out through the bottom of this formation, we do have two separate support lines in here, two separate trend lines that you can see on here, besides these horizontal trend lines where we have historic price support as well. Now to the top side of this, we got room up to about 2,300. Up above that, it looks like we studded out before at about 2,400. And should we break through that, 2,500 is that next stop along the way. So that's what we could look for Ethereum. Watch it, whatever it is, Bitcoin, if you want to watch that first. Altcoins, if you want to watch those as well. Whatever it is that you happen to be watching. Should they follow similar formations as what you see here, watch for which trend line gets broken, because that can tell you about the direction. So break through the top side of this, whether it's Ethereum or Bitcoin, either chart that I've shown so far, breaking through the top side could be further bullishness. Breaking down through the bottom of these could show further bearishness. And then also the RSI could be something that's also telling of that. So it has been a really good run for crypto recently, and we'll find out probably this weekend, if not this weekend, very early this week, if we're going to have that sort of movement. I sort of hope for the Bitcoin miner side of things and being able to play it within the stock market, I hope that it holds off until at least after 9:30 on Monday, so that I could take some sort of position, or at least have the opportunity to play some options on those, because I think that could really work out handsomely, whether it's calls or puts. Moving over to XRP. Check out XRP. This is the 4-hour chart that we have for them. Very similar story. Which trend line is going to be broken? You need to be watching this, especially if you're somebody who's in crypto. Never going to tell you to buy or sell, but I'll tell you what, pick your favorite crypto. Check out what's going on in the technicals. Like I said, I have a lot of them here for you, and XRP is one of those, and right now has that narrowing going on. Once again, which trend line is going to break? There's supports and resistances are here. So we have resistance at 75 cents, and above that all the way up to 85 cents. If we go down below, if we break out the bottom of this thing, there's about 55 or 56 cents. And then we could also see down to about 45. And the one that I have marked below that is about 40 cents per XRP. So moving on to Solana. Solana actually looks a little bit different. Check this one out. This is the first one that has a bit of a bullish bias going to it already. In the 4-hour chart that we've seen, we were in an overbought territory on, I'm sorry, we're looking at the daily chart here. We'll go to the 4-hour chart in a moment, but on the daily chart here, you can see that we were overbought. We still actually have rising momentum off the bottom of these RSI measures that we have here. And it is possible that we pop out the top of this. $75 per SOL token is what we want to be watching for right now. Should we break that to the upside, we have room up to about 85. And after that, I believe takes us all the way up to room for $100 per token. So if things go in a very bullish way for Solana, we could possibly see that upside. There is another trend line that we could put in here. And I chose the Ray tool, but we'll go with it. That possibly off the tops of these things, this could be something where we're looking for reaching up before we get to 85, maybe even takes long enough that we hit this point of confluence that we see out here. And that would be something that could act as significant resistance for us. We'll see if that ends up getting trapped in there, which, mind you, that leaves us, should we break to the upside, then we have 76 as support. So moving on to Cardano with its ADA token as we look at it here. For Cardano, once again, very similar to what we saw with Bitcoin and Ethereum, that we're looking to see which trend line gets broken. Is it going to be to the top side or the bottom side? We're just going to have to watch for it. Once again, the RSI is in limbo. We don't know if we're going to drop significantly below 50. We don't know if we're going to rise up above 50. And like I said about the market bias, I think that if the stock market is any indicator and we continue in a risk-on environment, crypto should do really well under that pretense. Bitcoin could do really well. The altcoins could follow that Bitcoin. So I think that's very much worth watching which way we break out of that. ADA, by the way, has resistance at about 63 cents per token, and then up above that is about 70 cents. Well, for that breakout, we could actually put one down a little bit lower at about 67 if we wanted to, but that's still significant. That's about 10% up from where it's at right now. So if we go over to Avalanche with AVAX, this one, you can see it's been in a bullish channel, and from where we're at right now, it is possible. Do we end up breaking out through the top of that thing? And if we do, there's a big gap to be filled on this. If we actually go out to the weekly chart, you can see the gap that we have. And I actually have to reset the chart view for you, but you can see we have this big no man's land of support and resistance in here between about $40 per AVAX all the way up to about $50. Now, remember, I did say that I do not have any polished up research on any one of these crypto assets that are out there. So you might want to bring in some of that research to your own to see what's going on with each one of them. This is just a technical view of them. So putting AVAX back up here, making up to 50 would be absolutely huge. I do anticipate, and it's actually closer to 52, by the way. So making it up to that level, I do expect significant resistance, but there's not a lot in between to resist. So this might be one of the top ones. Should we break to the upside on this? Should we be able to break up over, let me see where I have that line at, 43.25. Should we be able to strongly break up over that? That is something that could really pop up for us. So what's that, about 15% gain in AVAX, and that could possibly happen over the next several days if we break up through resistance, or maybe it happens over the next several hours, the next several weeks. Crypto is a crazy place to hang out, and it's certainly nothing that I actively monitor on a daily basis, but today it's very interesting enough for me to bring it onto you here onto my YouTube channel. SHIB Inu, this one is tracked by at least one of my community members. Kiko requested that I take a look at this, so I'm taking a look at this, and you can see that we get little peekaboos on Shiba Inu. This one, super tiny when you compare it to what it costs. What do we have? We have 4 zeros and then a 1. And wow, is that small. But should we break this formation to the upside, this could gain very quickly. So most definitely something to watch. Maybe SHIB has that sort of running power. This is on a 4-hour basis, but you do want to watch for which way we break this. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative about the trend lines that you draw, maybe this would be something that could help signal you from a false breakout, for example. But maybe waiting until you break above that trend line or down below this one to determine the direction that you expect SHIB to go would be a little bit more responsible due to the technicals that are on here. So Shiba Inu, I'll tell you what, like, That one's tiny. That one's risky. Bitcoin, I think, has a lot of institutional following, institutional investment, and I think that your prices are going to be a little bit more stable and a little bit more predictable when you get down to the Shiba Inu level. Holy cow, that's definitely Wild West for sure, at least in my opinion. So I did tell you guys that I would tell you about the Patreon. And if you want to see where I do my buys and sells over at the Discord, available through the Patreon, you can do that by clicking the link down in the description of this video. I also have my options course over there, which is what I use to really add alpha to my portfolio. And then I use that for my other long-term investments. And then also I use Moomoo to do that most often for my options trading. And you can get 15 free stocks by using my link down in the description for that as well. So let me put that down and pop up and talk to you guys directly. So we don't know which way we're going to pop out of the trend lines that we have for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, you name it, whatever one it happens to be from this video. And you guys are welcome to put your thoughts down in the comments of this video. I'd absolutely love to hear from you, especially if you're somebody who closely follows any one of these cryptos, or if there's one that I haven't mentioned that you closely follow, feel free to educate me and at least, point me in some direction of what you think is a fruitful path or something really worthwhile to look at, because I haven't done my research on crypto since I would say probably mid to late 2021. I think it was late 2021. Then I focused my studies on finishing up my doctorate, because that just had to be, that was tier 1. That had to be taken off my list. Now that that's done and caught back up with the markets, get my YouTube back up and running, everything going full force forward again. Crypto is that next hill for me to climb, and it'd be nice to have you guys tell me what you've been watching, what you've been following, and I'd absolutely love to hear from that. So Bitcoin, are we going to have that next big move? Which direction is it going to go? The altcoins, are we going to have that next big move? Which way is it going to go? Right now, I still stand with a bullish bias. I think we'll probably break to the upside, and we'll see if that happens. And again, that assumes that we're in a risk-on environment in the markets for at least the next little while. And certainly up to that January 5th through 10th date that we have for Bitcoin being that catalyst for the decision the next time that we hear about the Bitcoin ETF. So should that actually hit the markets, I think that could be a huge catalyst for us. So with that sort of approval, if it gets declined again, I think there could be a big plummet. So either way, I think it's either pop up and drop with approval, and we'll see how long it would take for that drop to happen. And if we get not the approval, if the FCC still says, no, not yet, or no, we're still not convinced, well, that's, in my opinion, an immediate drop. We could even see that leading up to that January 5th date. It could actually, the market could anticipate the sell the news and sell before we ever even get there. So that's most definitely something to watch out for as well. I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back again this weekend, and also to give a market update. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the link for the Patreon down in the description. Also find that link for Moomoo and grab your free stocks and a wonderful trading platform. Guys, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.